Yo, what's good, everybody? Check 1 2. What's up, internet world? Thanks for joining us, Dark Horse Live, episode 39. Tonight's a fucking banger. We've got Alien Labs with us. He's got a flight to catch, so free seat giveaway gets moved to the back of the show. So let's hang out, do this fucking interview real quick. I'll learn some shit, and then free seat shit right after. But with that said, let's not waste any fucking time and bring in Alien Labs. So you should be there. Can you hear us, sir? I think you.
Yeah. What's up, man?
All right.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome. I got TH
yeah.
Caesar with me. I've also got BK Roller sitting here. You guys' mics work?
And my boys. My two boys.
What's up, Teddy?
Caesar,
what's up, man?
I know you can hear me.
How's life treating you?
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right,
man,
guys.
it's going good. It's working.
So, as we do with everybody on this show, man, I really appreciate you coming on once again. But as we do with everybody's show, I say take me back to the beginning, if you would. Tell me about your introduction to cannabis. Do you know your first time you ever smoked?
Yeah. Oh, the first time I ever smoked, I was in 7th grade. My the dad's side of my family grew weed, so like I kind of was like more. I'm a second generation pot farmer, you know. That's how I really got my start. You know, later in high school, like getting super cheap packs from my family members, like before there was $1,000 packs, you know. So shout out to them for hooking it up. But yeah, I smoked in the 7th grade. I had a weird older friend. I think we all did. This guy was like, I think 7 years older than me and my friends, and he had a plug, but it was for what we called at the time like mech, so it was like brickweed, you know. Right. But we didn't fucking. I'm sure he like ripped us off, you know, some way. He bought him a little crack rock and fucking we smoked the fucking $5 weed that he spent $25 on for the piece of the crack rock. But I don't remember getting high. Like, not stereotypical, but like it could have been the swag that I was smoking, but I just don't remember being high. Sure. And one of my other buddies and my partner Scotty Hayes, he said he didn't get high. We smoked weed at the same time. And then 2 of our other friends, they got high though. Like one of my friends was like on the fence, like looking over the fence, all scared because his parents. We were at my house, and his parents like lived across the street. So he was tripping. He was playing it up, sure though, because it didn't matter how much of that shit you smoked. You only got a headache.
I got you. So I'm kind of interested if I mean we probably couldn't all knock it out in under an hour or so, but if you could, I kind of was interested in the autobiography of Alien Labs. So talk to us a little bit about you start growing, you know, the earliest phases of you growing, and then the early stages of Alien Labs, and a two-parter. What does the name Alien Labs come from?
Yeah, all right. So it really starts with, you know, flipping packs. You know, I was flipping packs. You know, when Redding, where we're from, is the first like city outside of the Emerald Triangle that really has the closest city, I should say. There's 2 ways into the Emerald Triangle. Like there's 36 and there's 299. Yep. And both of those are like 2-lane roads, you know, that get backed up and take forever. And they're like heavily, you know, the cops will just sit there. And if you drove by and you look wrong, they're fucking going to pull you over, you know? So Redding is like the first city outside of those places that's pretty big with enough hotels and lots of interstates, you know? Yeah. So people would come there, growers would come there to sell their weed. They'd chill in hotels and just, you know, fucking sling their packs, and buyers would come to buy it. So we, like, that area became like good with not only growing but selling. Like, so it was just like this hub of knowledge because tons of people were coming in, tons of people were going out, and everyone was sharing knowledge. Like nobody was, you know, that whole like even just now, it seems like recently, soon, like within the past couple of years, like people really stopped sharing knowledge. But back in the day, you know, everyone would tell everyone everything. So
sure. Yeah. What time frame are we kind of talking? It doesn't to date you or anything, but how long ago was this? That
you're 34. This is like, you know, 2004, 2005, 2006. Sure. You know.
Sure. Heyday, the best times.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Right. And so I after I got out of high school. I moved to San Francisco, and at the time, the industry was like so new, even the medical industry. Like it was rare to have a store. Like you had to go to LA or San Francisco to like find a weed store.
Yeah.
And I remember just going into them and just like it was very advanced, to go into a weed store. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like outside of Amsterdam, and I just remember thinking like, damn, like I love trying all the strains and shit, but like I just felt like I'd seen the weed that like, my homies and people were growing back home and writing, and I was like, this shit is just, it's so much better, it's night and day.
Totally.
And then I'm in San Francisco for a while, and the cookies things happen, or Girl Scout cookies becomes like the biggest thing, right? Strain wise in San Francisco. And right around that time, I moved back to Redding, and I linked up with my partner, Tyler, who had a store there, and I managed it for him. Because I got some experience with stores, working, managing I went from a security door guy to a bartender to manager. And then when I went back to Redding and I worked in his store, like I brought it like a real San Francisco kind of vibe to it, like a real store. Like, because those didn't really, like in Redding, you had like hippie, like, in the early like collective days, it was like
shitty dispensaries that started with Craigslist, like furniture and shit, versus like cookies who
And
like
it was
blew
like,
it out with all iPhone store looking,
yeah,
like music
100%.
video
It
looking
was
store.
like, it was cool, but it was like, it was dope. Like it was cool, still a place, weed store, like, but it wasn't like fucking upscale, like, this is where you come get the fire. It's like, oh, this place has 70 different strains and 2 of them have been on the shelf for 13 years, or whatever. So, like I worked in there with him, and I left out the part in San Francisco. My first grow, I had an indoor grow in San Francisco in my washer and dryer room with my roommate Chris. We grew green crack and purple Urkel. That was my first really finished grow. Like I grew in high school. Like I had like 3 like single T5s, the T5 style bulb, like Home Depot.
Totally.
And I just popped some seeds. I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. I don't even remember if I finished it out. But so when I was living in San Francisco, we popped off a little washer and dryer room in San Francisco. Using just San Francisco fresh air. It was super cold in there. You didn't need any fucking air conditioning or nothing. It was just some fire fucking weed, So that was like my first harvest to completion. That was like in 2008 or maybe 2007 maybe. And then, so after, I get back to Redding and I'm working with Medi-Cali, I start just kind of saving up my money, and I trimmed for a while with this guy that everyone from Redding, if you know, he's named the Old Man. He smoked OG in like the last probably 15 years. Like it's likely that he had a hand in it. So I trimmed for him, dude. Every morning I'd wake up at 6. I'd go with my boy. We'd fucking bang out 2 fucking pounds a day. That's $400 cash, He was like real rigorous, or he was like kind of like had a good trimming schedule. So it'd be like you go Monday through Friday, get paid on Friday. Like, me and my boys were making $2,000 a week, like just trimming.
Right.
So we'd go at like 7 a.m., be done by like 1 o'clock. And it was just like, we just treated it like the total regular job. And I just saved my money. And then eventually I was able to build like a 6-lighter, super 6-lighter. I got a house and shit, and in our town, this shit was banned. And then I just started like ideating on a brand. Like all throughout this time, I'm also just like taking packs down to to Sacramento and LA and just building up a network of stores, because, in the good old days, you just walked into a dispensary.
Yeah, backpack service.
Said, hey, I want to vend this.
Yeah.
And so all the time I'm doing that with like my boys that were growing pretty good weed, different cuts, OG, the early cookies cuts, the bag seed animal, that was like kind of a good yielder, and some other little things. And so then I'm like, yeah, well, shit, we need to like put a name on this, And At the time there wasn't really brands. Like Cookies wasn't a weed brand yet. They were like a clothing brand, So it's like
Yeah.
all I knew was that as like in high school, like I bounced around the groups, like I didn't have a group. Like I never identified with one thing. And like I liked everything. I liked the nerdy kids. I liked the fucking, the skaters. I was in the skater. I guess I was pretty much like a skater group kid, but like skater stoner kid,
Sure. Were
But
you
I
a
would hang
good
out.
student? You get good grades?
What's up?
Good grades?
No, fuck no. I mean, I was a good student, like if I wanted to be, but like I just didn't think school was ever anything that like I gave a fuck about. It just wasn't it. I didn't see the value in it, and looking back, I do now. Like I see the value in, like we do crazy numbers, but I have to be paired with like operators, but I don't have to do any paperwork.
Sure.
Like, I never fuck with that shit. So I think it's cool that people want to go do that, and learn about that type of shit so that they can, help guys like us that really, aren't equipped to do stuff like that. But I value school now. I definitely going to push my kid to go,
Totally.
and then I think back too, like, damn, what if I would have gotten a degree in like, indoor agriculture? Like, the combined knowledge of a grower that learned from doing it and a real agricultural background is like where the industry is heading. A lot of people think that big ag is like kind of like just compatible one-to-one with cannabis, and it's truly really not. So it's really bridging the gap between the two styles of growing.
Sure.
That I think is going to be the future of this industry. So anyway, yeah, I started growing that, the 6 lighter, got some cool cuts. Got the Cookies cut. I gave my partner, it wasn't my partner yet, but eventually would go on to be, I gave him some cuts, and we, Alien Lab started taking off, and I was like, let's just fucking team up, man. Like this is our thing now. We would just drive down and together and, sell fucking the weed that we grew. And eventually like our quality just started getting so good that we started getting known so well for our quality that we had to just like step up the quality control, and sometimes shit would come down from his rooms or sometimes shit would come down from my room. I'm like, damn, I don't know about this one, fuck that one up, and vice versa. So we just started really just strategically going down to places and fucking like vending to places that had like high brand awareness already.
Where did you vend early? Are they still around? I know a lot of those shops kind of came and went.
Yeah, like ELC and Green Wolf, those were two like ones in LA that we like to hit. And
Yeah, nice.
obviously I connected with one of our first our first vendors, or they were one of the first people that we vended to. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And North Star, actually, yeah, I mean, the main ones that we started with are all still here.
Nice.
That's probably not a coincidence, honestly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So now, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I'll let you continue with the story, but just so catch everyone up who's watching, Alien Labs is a titan of the industry. You have large scale facilities, like you guys are doing big things.
All right, so we partnered up. We didn't have a pathway to licensure like where we were in Redding. They've been traditionally like a banned county, right?
Yeah.
Even when we were growing there, like they were banned. You weren't allowed to grow medical there. So when Prop 64 came along, like we voted no. We didn't. We were cool with where we were. You know what I mean? Right. And then we didn't have any pathway to licensure in Redding, so I was like, well, fuck, I'll move to Zach. And like that was going to be the first state or the first city that issued state permits for licensing. So I was like, I'll move there and I'll just try and get us going. Like whatever I can do to do that. We're just poor kids from fucking Redding. So like when I started Alien Labs, I was like, this isn't just like a mountain in the path of my life. You know what I mean? Like this is just something that, this is I'm 34 years old. So like, this was the first
company you've ever started. There you
Yeah,
go.
the first company I'm going to start. Like let's
Probably
see
the
how.
last too, my friend.
But on that same token, like what I learned about that is that like the creativity and like the building of the brands is like almost like more fun than when it is like just moving, especially here in California. Like it's a different story now that we've come to Arizona and we got to redo it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, it kind of gets monotonous in the legal market in California. Like, not to say that we're not busy as shit or we're fucking, not always thinking of ways to, reinvent ourselves. But it's like, yeah, it takes 3 months to grow, and fucking, what do you do in between? And there's just, it's not as fun as like, oh shit, like how do we get this to, how do we make this thing the next coolest thing? All these cool ideas. Like, how do we, and it also like Corona, man, that just made it worse.
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
Preach.
Like,
talk a little bit about, if you will. Obviously, this was a covert thing. You know what I mean? When you were growing, at some point, I imagine you may have had the cards to cover it. It was a little bit weird, but you had to go from covert to licensed to legal. Talk a little bit about that fucking process, because I know California's been a bit of a nightmare. But take me down that fucked up train.
Yeah, we were like covert, but we were also like one of the first people to like go out there and be like, hey, like here we are. We don't.
Right.
It's not because where we were, like I looked at it like this. Like I would always ask my friends, like, "Hey, have you ever heard of anyone getting busted for growing indoor weed and wedding?" And they'd be like, "No." I'd be like, "All right, we're good then." Like so we would just grow like in fucking it. Not to say we were like extra loud about it. Like I didn't drive. Like I see kids nowadays fucking driving rented Lambos, and I'm like, you guys are fucking wild. And that would have got me when I was fucking trapping, dude. That would got me fucking, that would have got you sewn up. Like they know that, and they still do, but it's just like, yeah, they forget, in the in the chase of clout, they forget you still kind of got to be low key about it. So we weren't too loud about it, but we also, we were out in the open with it. So the transition was, despite, not including the licensing and all the bullshit that like we couldn't have done without Connected, like it's been pretty good for us. And especially, corporate wise, like we don't play. I'm still the same bully. I'm still the same bully I was when I'd walk into a room and put $100 grand on the table and say, I'll take fucking 120 of them things for $800. Let me know.
Totally. There's something I love about walking into a room full of suits and like sweatpants and being like, I did this 10 years ago, and I'm gonna do it again today, bro. I don't give a fuck. Like,
I'm a cultural gatekeeper, man. Like we get to, but on the other side of it too, like those guys really respect like what we've built, so they listen to us. So like we get a good dialogue with them, and we can kind of teach them. So it's almost like, like kind of shaping how the industry could be in a way, because we talk, we don't, it's not, we know for real what's up.
We steer
like it's
it.
not,
it's ultimately not we steer it which way it's going to go, really. Not to say but the minds that, I don't know, the people that are doing shit that people are taking note of, where the followers are going. When you have 300,000 followers and shit, and people are like trying to pay attention, what the fuck are they doing, right? You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I had someone say to me recently, like, yeah, we're doing there. We're gonna, the beverage thing. Like everyone's like, oh, beverages, dude, beverages, it's gonna be the next. And I'm like, for who? Like, if you guys think that you're just gonna put a bunch of beverages in the store and they're just gonna sell, like that isn't how that isn't how this California weed industry has come to work yet.
No.
You still got to have some, if you want to just bring a product out, you still got to have some like, trust with your consumer. Like they got that what you're doing, is right for them. And, fucking for as much shit as we get about having expensive eighths, like shout out to California. I certainly voted no on Prop 64. One thing our consumer base knows is that like they can trust us. We've never really like fucking,
There's value in those jars.
Hey, we have, we didn't catch that one. We're pulling the batch. It's got PM. You know,
Totally.
we never had
bullshit. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, you know.
I think we skipped over, which something I don't know why I'm intrigued, but I do want to know, where does Alien Labs come from? You're a super alien guy, believe in aliens, or you have alien experience you want to divulge?
No. Okay, so me and Scotty Hayes, that's one of the partners in Alien. Big part of it actually. Like our head grower grew most of the weed. If you smoke Alien Labs like in the pre 64 days, like he probably grew it. For the most part. If it wasn't like the very beginning when it was like me and him and my other partner, but it was born out of the idea that we weren't like what the other brand that there was there. Like we are nerds. Like we grew up doing nerdy shit, like Magic the Gathering, fucking
Word.
Anime, all the shit that like is cool now, but like when you were our age, like you didn't want to tell people you did that.
Right.
We were the kids that told people we did that. Like we didn't give a fuck because we were the cool kids. I was always when we were flipping packs, I'd go into the Magic store and just be like, yeah, like I'll cash out. I'll take like 4 boxes, 5 boxes, whatever. And the kids would just look at me like, holy shit, like I want to be that one.
Right.
I had the same experience when I bought the PlayStation the other day. I was like, I had it on pre-order at Best Buy, and I was picking it up, and there was this kid staring at me, and I was like looking at games about because I didn't pre-order. I was like, give me like 3 games, that one, and the kid was just looking at me like, you motherfucker. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm like 40, I got money now, but I like these games just as much as I did when I was your age.
That's right.
I was like, it's on now, bitch. I'm buying all this shit.
So then we just like, alien, to me doesn't just mean what it is, like, but it's an outcast. Like, so that's really like what we were of this industry. Like we didn't at the time, like what was popular and like who was represented, like it wasn't us, so we were that. And that's why like it became like Alien Labs, like we were the aliens coming into like this different industry that like wasn't really ready for us. And like history came to show that it really wasn't, there wasn't really like, I mean, I don't know. Like I pay attention to this shit like pretty closely. Like I eat, sleep and breathe this industry. So like, I can't think of one other brand that I could have watched grow like we have. Like not only in cannabis, but like in a lot of stuff. So pretty crazy to me, like how fast we were able to get here. And like, no one, if anything, we've had like adversity to get where we are. Like, Ivan from the Jungle Boys, man, he was like the first big name guy to like be like, what's up? Like, you guys are fucking cool, man. Like, come check us out. And we went down there and, he hooked us up with a wedding cake cut. And I was like, damn, dude, you're fucking pretty cool. He's always been a cool dude. And I was like, bro, we're so inspired by you guys, like it's fucking crazy. He's always real positive. Like, he always showed us love and that, but besides that, like the old heads fucking never really like showed us much, I'm talking about California industry titans. Like we got love from everyone because that's just our personality types and people want to be around that type of, energy.
Talk to me a little bit about present
Go
day.
ahead.
I say, talk to me a little bit about present day and what you guys are doing, like facility wise.
We're expanding. We only have 180 lights right now. We're building out a facility that'll have more, so we'll be able to have more supply in California. Sometimes we'll grow, a room in a connected facility, but it's a little hard because it's harder now because they're on like direct injection facilities and we're still hand mixing and they feed different shit. So it's like, if you want to, it's just kind of a hassle to get in there and swap everything out.
Yeah.
So we're expanding pretty soon, building out a pretty cool facility. And the facility that we're in, I didn't get to this part, but yeah, so Connected ended up giving us a facility that was licensed that they were going to leave. They were like, hey, like we love you guys. Like you've been our fucking best vendors since day one. Like I don't think anyone has ever, I think you guys are the only vendors that we've never had an issue with. I was like, well, fucking thank you. And he's like, but so if you want to come and grow in this space, like you're more than welcome to. And that was the space that we're in. And it was, this is in 2017. And at this time, I'm sure this thing was like 10 years old. So it's pretty old, So I'm really looking forward to like our our first new facility. Like you see a lot of these guys growing fucking super dank weed and maybe having experience, but like maybe not really having the most experience. And it's because they just built themselves out a nice, $25 million facility and the cruise control. So when you combine the knowledge and the fucking, the facility, that's when we're going to see some really fucking incredible shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's about to go fucking down in California. I didn't know you're getting a new facility built. Where's this facility at? Like same place?
No, well, we have a couple coming up, really, honestly. Like we have another one in Sac that's about to pop off, but our dedicated facility is going to be in Merced. So that's like a couple hours southeast, I think, of Sacramento.
Okay. But you're going to service the LA market, sure, and Oakland market. I'm just imagining.
Yeah, we'll be in every. We're all over the state. We do like statewide distribution. So, but this will be like where the cultivation, and it'll have a Type 6 and a Type 7. We're hoping to bring our hash and rosin in house. So look for that. Hopefully, we bring. I would love to bring a black market, or traditional market, somebody back from, there were some great hash makers, man. Full flavor extracts, fucking heads that roll.
You should talk to Mikey with Terp Preservation Society.
Yeah, Terp Prez, and Terp fucking Prez. See, there's just so much talent that didn't get to, especially with manufacturing, because manufacturing was tough, man. And,
super expensive. I think that's the huge setback.
Yeah, and the space, you have to have a ton of space for storage, and there's just like space issues in every single place, and space is expensive. That's what sucks. Like in cannabis, green zones, like space is super expensive. So when you need a lot of space for something like storage, that fucking sucks because
it does.
Costs go up, and then it makes it difficult to maintain your margins in an industry that's already impossible to maintain your margins.
Absolutely. They're cutting your guys' throats out there, bro.
We get, it's killer, but and then, we have to pay the taxes up front, half the time it'll take fucking 2 months to get paid. And it's just like, the one thing that I've really learned, working with Connected and the founder of Connected, shout out to Caleb. He's a fucking, he's so smart, incredible businessman, is that at the end of the day, like the difference between these companies is going to be minute, like at some point, like everybody's going to be able to grow like pretty fucking fireweed. Right.
Eventually, like,
Eventually.
I thought the same thing because, like, we, back in the 90s, we kind of waddled through this shit and figured out how to grow dank. But, nowadays with this huge wave of recreational coming on, I expected everybody to be like, within a year or so, be growing fire. And I'm just not seeing that.
I think still there's a genetic bottleneck, right? Like the torch bearers, like they're still only, even in, I feel like Arizona, and I don't know much about Colorado, but I still feel this way about Colorado. Like the genetics are just like what California is kind of doing, like, is there strains in Colorado that are like just super popping that like didn't just come from here, or like
kitchen sink?
Yeah, for sure.
Not a lot. I would say a few, but not a lot. I would agree with that statement. A lot of the
Colorado, I guess, is probably not a good example because they've been doing this for a long time. But Arizona, like for sure, it's like
Arizona for sure. Yeah, nobody's got shit there.
Really, like, doing anything, creative and shit outside of in the rec market. Let me say that because I know people get in their feelings about, like, I'm not talking about just like these people with a brand that they made. Like there's people doing sick ass shit, like Jelly Wizard. This guy made sick edibles and fucking, you know what I mean? But like in the recreational market,
right?
Like
there's not talking small boutique style. Fucking you care about your shit and baby your plants every day. You're talking about commercial growing.
Yeah, there's just nobody really doing creative shit. So it's just like crazy with their strains and trying to make a name for them. So anyway, the point is, it's hard for these companies to fucking like get past the hurdle of genetics. You know, like they're still growing fucking wedding cake,
right.
which is like,
And
you know,
that's what I stress to people the most. Like, these new companies starting up, and I was like, your most important asset is a geneticist or a breeder. You
yeah.
need to be coming up and working on your own shit constantly.
So speaking of genetics, that's what I'm trying to get at here. Is I wanted to talk to you about strains, genetics, the stuff that you guys have grown under Alien Labs. The sort of your
Yeah.
most populars, your go-to. Take me through some of the best shit you guys have worked with.
Yeah, man. Well, we kind of like cut our teeth on OG. So we had a OG cut that we got as like OG Kush. This was like
Yep.
before they named it. you know,
Yeah,
so
exactly. What year?
like I think like 07 and 08. I feel like that could be wrong. Like I don't know.
I
Like
know
where
it's rough thinking back. Like, damn, I didn't know I was supposed to time date this shit.
Yeah, but I wish I did, dude. Like I
Me
really do
too.
because it was cool. But anyway, so yeah, we got that, and that's like what my partner really cut his teeth on growing, like too, and really like everyone in our town of Reading, dude. So there's a lot of heavy hitters that grow in dank in the rec market out of Reading because we all just learned and listened and taught each other and helped out,
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. Now,
so we
is
do
your
that.
OG cut the one that they call King Louis now? Because
No, we call it lemon fuel now, but like when we would take it to LA to sell it, they called it Mars OG. So that was
okay,
like AKA the Mars, like
yeah, I
from
remember Mars.
yeah, the Mars is fire, dude. It's like a SFV, like it's like a cut of SFV or whatever,
Yeah, so you had. It sounds like you had the original like '90s OG.
yeah, like what the Florida boys would call triangle, like it all the same, the same shit. It's all the
I
same
think the
shit.
triangle
It's
ended
not
up being
like
a S1 off of it. A little Hermy problem, but I don't know.
oh,
That's still. I mean, it's still the same plant, and it works great. Like that. As Jason pointed out, the S1 off the triangle, the white, that works great at stabilizing almost any genetic. Like if you got a problem with herms, hit it back to that and then work it forward.
So
You
an
get them stuck.
S1 is a self pollination.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah,
It's like when a plant goes hermy in a room and pollinates
exactly.
itself. That's just
Or it
crazy
can
to
be.
me.
I mean, S1 can be feminized collected pollen back to the same source too, but it also can be a
Right,
self
but
on an accident. You know what I mean, on a herm
yeah,
plant,
okay.
right?
But just shit's crazy that the white could be an S1 of OG.
But yeah, you
Like,
got me a little sidetracked on
Right.
OGs. I want to keep going with, like I said, I know you guys worked through a
right,
shit ton of
yeah.
strains at Alien Labs. So take me through a little bit of the
So
strain history of what you guys worked with.
yeah, so we got we cut our teeth growing OG, which as everyone may or may not know is like the hardest plant to grow good. So if you can dial in a room for OG, you can dial in a room for pretty much anything, like pretty easy, honestly. Especially
Absolutely.
these newer exotic strains and just like the easy to grow shit. So then after that, there was a strain that we really all loved called Purple Skunk that we grew a lot of alongside the OG. But the Purple Skunk is like a special place in my heart. That was just so fire. Most people probably haven't seen that. You guys might have because you are obviously a little more. You're in the meta here. But it was a great, crazy grape smelling strain that was like so giggly that it's still to this day like one of my favorite strains. I think about it a lot. Like 4 years ago, I asked my partner, I was like, hey, hit up fucking Ron, see if you can get that purple skunk cut back. And Ron was like this old man in the mountains. And he's like, all right, I will. And we got it back. Like,
Oh shit.
Literally like 3.5 years ago. And we harvested it, and I was like, "Damn, this is just as fire as I thought it was gonna." We put a couple in the room, and I was like, "This is just as fire as I thought it would be. Like, this is for sure. This can be an exotic right now to this day. This old ass strain, like shitting on new shit."
Right.
And I was like, "What? Like, let's get this in production." And he's like, "Fuck, man! Like, we killed it. It died. We killed it." And I was like, "Well, fucking ask Ron for one." He's like, "I already did, dude. He killed it too, man." So it's gone forever, dude. So if you had a NorCal strain, purple skunk, in NorCal late 2000s, let me know, man. I need
Yeah, he
that
said holla.
straight up.
What about nowadays? What's the hottest shit now, or just continue on wherever?
Yeah, no, I'll keep going. So then, we did Dosey. We fucking randomly got like a non-keeper of NorCal's that was super fire. It was supposedly it was a tray of fucking clones that was supposed to be like the NorCal cut, but then we got ours and it was obviously much different than the NorCal cut. It was like an OG leaning, like super OG Dom. Like it looked like like a Bubba Kush style bud instead of like how the NorCal cut of Dosey lean, which was like the cookie style.
Yeah,
Cookie
that
style.
sounds like the OG Kush breath.
Yeah, that's what it was more. I think it was like a face off kind of Dom thing too. It was like the face off smell with like a OGKB structure. Yeah, you're right. Because OGKB was like that, where it was like Christmas tree dense buds,
Right.
And that's how this was. It wasn't like the cookies like the other Dosey. And we started growing that, and people were just like blown away by that. Like that.
Absolutely.
No, put Dosey like on the map, dude. Like Dosey had kind of been written off as like, oh, like it's cool, it's pretty, but it doesn't have that much terps and like, whatever. And then we bring this Dosey out, and it's like, oh, this is the fucking Dosey,
Yeah.
And still to this day, like people, I love Dosey, and I'm like, I think like, nah, man, like you might have liked the Alien Lab Dosey, like that was the one. Now I see Dosey and I'm like, dude, this just ain't it. It doesn't have that gas, and it could have been that, pheno, it's a phenotype. So that's a genetic expression, like given a particular environment. And like we grew OG. So it could have just been that like our growing methods like brought out more of the, OG characteristics in it. And that's why.
Absolutely. Because I was going to say that, there is a fire cut of Dosey floating around NorCal out there.
Yeah.
There's a nursery in Placerville.
We gave it to our friend.
Yeah. What I was talking about was Michael Straight. That's what I grew out there last year, and that cut, I was like, out of everything on the farm, it just shined above the rest.
Yeah, the Dosey, man, that shit's fucking beautiful.
Shout out Archive.
Archive.
What was next, or what do you got next on the lineup?
Dosey wedding cake. I kind of went into that. Jungle Boys gave us a wedding cake cut. We went and just crushed that one. And then we had Zuki's, which was a creation of our own, like our Gorilla Glue 4 cut, the original Gorilla Glue, that chocolatey kind of, chem fucking football, turkey bag football strain. Got pollinated by an animal cookie cut. The animal cookie cut was like super prone to hermaphrodism, like the real OG animal cookie cut. Like shout out to fucking, actually fuck RIP to Sirius. Fucking, he's a legend. That animal cookies was his, and we grew that, and it, it was a little yielder, but it was super fire smoke. But one time it hermed down in our warehouse, and just literally fucking seeded 18 lights. So we were like, fuck, this sucks, but at the same time, like, and it was a warehouse full of Gorilla Glue, Dosey, Form Cut, like a bunch of different shit, and the only seeds we kept were Gorilla Glue for some reason. At this point, we weren't really into seeds yet. Like it was more like, we were just kind of fucking trying to get sick cuts or like, popping seeds, but not like our own. Like, and our knowledge wasn't there yet to know like, hey, this is just like, this is fine. You can grow these and they'll be great, So I gave a bunch of seeds to my boy Bear from the Harvest Company. What was his name? Candyman 707, I think. And he popped some and he gave me a few back, and I fucking selected the one that we ended up keeping. And we call it Zuki. So that was another one of ours. That was like kind of before wedding cake, like during the Dosey days. And that was the animal cookies Gorilla Glue cut. It's really good. Still great strain. And then, fast forward, we do Melonade. We, Midwest Best gave me some seeds that were labeled Watermelon Skittles Lemon Tree. We popped like a bunch of them. We found a super crazy resinous one. I named it Melonade. This name stuck. He was like, I want to call this strain that. I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Let's do it. Like, let's get it. You're the homie. So then like 3 months after we debuted Melonade, December 17th, 2017 at Emerald Cut. And then May 5th, I think it was like May 5th or 6th, we won best sativa at High Times with it. So it was like, it came on like just crazy. It's a great strain. And then we pumped that out for a little while, and then we Connected gave us a bunch of Gelato 41 crosses, and we popped a bunch of those. And we had given them some cuts to, like, just fill their rooms. Like, we still at this point we're like, yeah, dude, we'll share cuts. Like, there were some things that we didn't give out, like dosi and wedding cake. Like, if someone had given me something and asked me not to give it out, we wouldn't. But we gave them like lemon fuel and our dosi cut, and they pollinated both of those with Gelato 41 and a bunch of other shit with Gelato 41. And then we ended up choosing the lemon fuel and Gelato 41, Sunset Sherb and Gelato 41, and Kosher Kush X Gelato 41. Out of the full group, which was like 7, we did like the F1 Durban X Gelato 41, Green Crack X Gelato 41, which was pretty interesting. Green Crack was super dominant, which was different than the rest of the gelato crosses. The gelato as a reversal, and we've come to find out that male, female pollen donor doesn't change anything, but gelato specifically as a reversed mom tends to be like really dominant in the crosses, and I theorize that it's because that gelato is just a recessive trait. So when you isolate, I don't have fucking Fletcher somewhere probably just groaning right now, fucking breeding. I would theorize that a recessive trait could go on to become a dominant trait if you select that.
If you can isolate it, for sure.
Yeah, double little X can essentially work its way out to become the dominant.
Yeah, right. That's
of
what
the cross. Yes, I follow where you're going with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we then those were Area 41, Sherbaccio, Baklava. We didn't end up going with anything from the Green Crack or the F1 Derb 41s, even though there was a couple nice ones in the F1 Derbs that were like some crazy berry terps. I didn't like the way any of them grew. I don't think any of us did. And then now we're just breeding our own everything. So everything, we popped a bunch of shit that we have been labeling as parental, maybe could be a keeper, but a lot of stuff I'm just popping like for potential parents. Most of the like older seed stock, from the 90s and early 2000s, like they're not really commercially viable. Like they could be for some people, but like, you need the full, you need everything, right? You need the smell, the taste, the looks. That's the real reality of this industry. And so what we've been doing is just like popping old shit will end up being super ugly, but hopefully has a good terp profile, Totally. And if we'll label it as a parent, sometimes we'll fucking pollinate it on the vine, like before the flower even hits, just to get ahead of it. If it smells good on the vine, we'll be like, yeah, let's hit that with some, like pollen that, like, we have a Dosi 12 male, and it tends to like not provide many terps, but it just makes everything fucking huge. So like if there's a nice, like with the purple oracle, for instance, like there was a nice purple oracle that was just tiny, and yeah, I just needed that beef, that fucking stretch and that beef. So like we pollinated that one right off the bat with the Dosi, and that'll be our next seed hunt. So last pheno hunt was about 2 months ago now. During that, we pollinated this, and then we'll pop the seeds, in a month. So
beautiful.
It really sped the program up pretty good, because you're not, if you're just looking for like a terp out of a specific plant, like it's fine if the rest of the shit doesn't check the boxes, and you're just going to do a wide hunt on it anyway. So
you mentioned Emerald Cup. I kind of had a question about Emerald Cup because you work both sides of it, being like the rest of us when it was pretty Wild West and it was crazy and it was a Super Bowl Mega Cup. And then you're like one of the only guys I know that have worked the other side now, where it's a licensed booth. And you want to speak to any of that? How was it? Does it suck? Is it
I mean, it's hard, but like that's why you put together a team. At this point in the game, if you don't have like a big fucking team, like good luck doing anything. But like also like, look, it's our job. To me, it's like my job to like keep what we made alive in these things. Yeah. Like if we don't do it, like if we don't go to these things and show up to these things, like who the fuck is gonna?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Teddy was working his ass off last Emerald. Like it was hard to catch up with him. I was out there, and yeah,
And
he showed up, with the goods that everybody was waiting for.
yeah, we dropped $100,000 just building our booth. Like we made an arcade out there
Yep.
because like it's just like, man, if there's not guys like me and fuck even Burner, like doing cool shit in this space, like people, it's gonna be really fucking stagnant,
Yeah.
in 5 years. And that's why, we get bullshit. I've already brought this up. We get bullshit for our price, but like, bro, like we are just playing within the rules and the regulations that they've given us, and
Yeah.
we want to be a profitable company.
Dude,
Well,
if
Like
these
I
guys could get it, they'd want to do that too. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
everyone, and that's the thing, like I can't stress enough what like $80 eights, like dude, that if people think we're getting rich off that, like
Right.
you're
Yeah.
smart.
And let me touch on that because you were talking about like you get some flack for that. Like
Oh yeah,
I don't want to hear nobody give you flack because I was out there, man, and there's very few times in my life that I've had to buy herb, and I went into a few dispensaries. Shout out Heart of Humboldt,
yeah, I
and
like our
I got to see what was available. And honestly, like you guys and 710 Labs were the only thing that I would purchase off the shelf.
I feel you. There's a couple other brands that have come up since then that I will buy. Not flower wise, I like Panacea. Fucking he does hella good and he's an OG. And I like 710 Labs, obviously. Um, and I haven't tried like a lot of new stuff, but I tried to try like the new stuff from like our kind of like peer group.
Right, right. But dude, I took my whole crew on the farm to dispensaries, and they would buy like all kinds of shit. So I got to try like literally everything that was available in Eureka, Arcata. Um, I didn't get down to Reading that much. Like, Reading, Reading not only had like you said the interstates and shit, but it had the only Home Depot that's fucking available in the area.
True, and the Costco.
Yeah.
the Costco.
I'd see all the head trimmer whoop girls like fucking fans, kind of cute at the Costco pushing 17 carts with 40 kids. Like shit, dude, you've been late.
We are just about at the end of the hour here, so I'm getting ready to wrap her up. I think my final question is going to be a two-parter, I guess, which is going to be talk a little bit about what you got going on as far as licensing other places. I don't know if you have done any licensing. Do you plan to do any licensing anywhere? Are you in multiple states, countries? And
Yeah,
obviously, I'll finish up with anything you want to say, shout outs, or obviously
sure.
what's next for you. But yeah, talk a little bit about licensing, or
Yeah,
is Alien Labs going to get bigger and bigger?
Yeah, we just opened up our second state. We dropped in Arizona on Friday.
Yep.
So shout out to our Arizona team. Like that place to me is like very tranquil. It's so much different than the California industry.
Absolutely.
It's like just so much less bureaucratic and so much more positive. It doesn't like the weight of what's going on around you doesn't like feel like it drags you down. And we are super successful. Fucking yeah, I mean, I don't know, we'll see what the numbers say, but they think that we will be the best selling cannabis flower brand in Arizona, like our first weekend. So pretty good there. And then we're gonna we're obviously looking into Detroit, Florida. I mean, we're definitely going, man. We're
Yeah, I'd
going.
like to see you guys in the Midwest and the East Coast for sure.
Yeah, I want to come to Colorado, man. I want to get to Oregon. I want to be everywhere. Like that's our point. That's our goal. Like we want to bring, this is a living organism. So as much as we can, like bring consistency in a product that like, hey, like you go to a different state, like, I know I can get Alien Labs. That's fire everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, for me, we don't do no. And to answer your question, we actually don't do licensing deals. So like in Arizona, we got our facility. We lease a license from Harvest to cultivate because in Arizona it's a full vertical integration. So and it's not unlimited licensing. They have like however many, like 20 or something.
Yep.
And then so we sent 2 of our head growers there to live in Arizona. One of our guys that had been with Connected, he was actually the first person to like buy our weed besides the founder of Connected from us. His name's Adam. He moved to Arizona like right when legality started. His wife like wanted to complete nursing school, and he's a real good guy, and he went there with her. And he started working in Arizona, and he started working with companies and weed companies and shit, and he just learned the thing out there. And then he came back to us as our VP, and he brought us into Arizona, and he saw that through. And the weed in Arizona is super fire, and like hopefully this doesn't go too wide, but I feel like it might be a little bit better than California because there's so many less steps in the supply chain. Like
there's less hands in the pot,
you
bro.
cut your weed, you fucking jar your weed, you have it go to testing, it gets out of testing, and it's in the store. That's it.
That's the way
There's
it
no
should
wait.
be.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. There's no, the cultivator needs to send it to the distro, and then the distro will do what they do with it for fucking a month, and then they'll get it tested, and that'll take 2 weeks, and then they'll jar it up, and that'll take another 2 weeks, and then by 2 months, shit's already fucking 2 months old.
It's 2 months old, and you're paying 4 people in between you and point of sale.
You have to pay them. It isn't like, hey, once we sell this fucking, you get to pay us back. It's like, no. We demand today, and fuck you. Good luck selling.
Yeah, I hope your shit sells, but I need my money now.
It's like the same thing as making somebody pump your gas for you. It's like forcing a job somewhere in the industry there.
Yeah, and it really is. It's just not fair the way they've set this up.
It's not, bro. It's not. It's not a workable model.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to my team, man. Everyone watching this, thank you guys for tuning in. Like we don't get to tell our story often. I feel like we we're just not, we grind, we're trying to do more of telling our story now, but like, dude, I grind, like I'm at this shit all the time. I wake up thinking about it. Like, and then I got a family. So that's like the other thing I do. Like I haven't had a social life, in 4 or 5 years, but like there's a good light at the end of the tunnel. And especially if you followed us, like, me, like I'm a fucking poor dude. I came from a poor fucking family. Like, if I can do this shit, so can you. So like, that's the message that I hope like people get out of what we've done. Like,
yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Mom and pop shit, bro. Like real old school.
There's a guy to support. There's a family or a farm to support.
Yeah, like, I mean, it really is crazy. Like, you can do shit. You can do it. It is hard. It seems so. I think like your brain thinking of it as an obstacle before you even start doing the legal shit is like more overwhelming than anything I've had to deal with. But like, just if you do it and you grind it out and you make it happen, you go at it every day, like you can do it. So
right. I think it was Nick T who told me that the guys that are still here, something about us is we got strong legs because we've learned to jump through some fucking hoops. You know what I mean? So.
That's a big fact, dude. Big fucking fact.
Right on. Well,
thanks
once again, man, I really want to thank you for coming on. I think we could have talked for hours, so I had to shave this down within an hour or whatever. But I'd try to get you back on, and we'll just keep going
for
deeper,
sure.
man.
We got
very interesting to me.
We got to follow up for sure.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Right on. I appreciate it.
Barely
Thank you,
said
man.
shit, but I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, peace out. Thanks, bro.
Have a good one.
All right, everybody. That's Alien Labs. That was really a treat for me to get to interview this dude or whatever. That was a really cool story, and there's much more I think that we can dig in there. Like I say, a lot to be learned. Dude's a titan of the industry, so appreciate him giving time for us and talking to us. Yeah. With that said, time to do some free shit.
It's free!
This week, let me see.
What you getting?
We're going to do... Let's do Name That Tune, actually.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
shit.
I'll go close-up cam. Well, what the fuck. I'll go... Ooh, I almost showed your face.
It's blocking
Okay.
out.
He's like, I got that covered.
Kimberry D will be the first one, and we're going to go name that tune. So
What?
Yeah, I'm going to be
Yeah,
looking.
you motherfuckers better be on this shit.
And
It
it's going to
is
go
long
across.
gone.
We'll do one for each platform. That way it's not so laggy fucked. Hopefully it's better for everybody. But So the first one will be for IG. So help me out, C's on IG. We're gonna play a clip. This is only for IG fuckers. You get the Kimberry D. You got to name that tune. You got to do it in the chat here as soon as you hear this clip. Which let me fucking find it.
Damn.
All right, here you go. That was it. So it's gonna be a little tricky. I might have to go a little longer than
Can
that.
I play it? No, I got it.
You can't guess.
Come on, man. That's
shh.
bullshit.
Silence. I'm looking real quick. Close.
We got C's.
Yeah. Dredo Crosta. Back in Black.
Back in Black, AC/DC.
Yeah, I gave it to you. Credo Rasta, whatever it was. I gave it to you. But yeah, that was the Back in Black. You got Kimberry D. And
Dude.
let's do another one.
Talk about a score.
That's probably enough to get me kicked off IG already. All right, this one will be for YouTube. All right, YouTube. You ready? Hold on, I got to mute this. Tell Caesar what the song is. Mute. All right, C's knows. Chat moderator knows. Song is this. YouTube only. You know what that is? Anybody guessing in the close, C's?
No one guessed anything.
It's a little harder for you.
No one's got anything yet.
A little harder.
Somebody's close.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I need a name. I need a specific name.
Yep. Black Label Impressions. Black Label Impressions.
Name, not a person. Name. What's the name of the track? Not the name of the person.
That is the name of the track. Black Label Impressions. Got it.
Oh, people are saying.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Black Label Impressions. I see them on YouTube. Yep. Alright. You got that, bitch. Easy E. Real motherfucking G's.
No one said that on YouTube.
Black Label Impressions. That came across my screen, I swear.
All right, well,
He's in there.
you saw
I
it.
swear.
All right, this
Next.
one's for Twitch. Twitchers.
Twitcher.
Give him a berry. Last fucking song. Last fucking song, gave him a berry. I forgot to tell C's. Yeah, C's. What the fuck is that? The fool next door on Twitch. Fool next door on Twitch knows.
For whom the bell tolls.
For whom the bell tolls, Metallica. See, I'm spreading it out all over, all kinds of genres. All kinds of genres,
Right?
Russ.
He's a regular Mark Zuckerberg.
All right, that was a wrap. All right, everybody, that's fucking Dark Horse Live, episode 39. Fuck.
Get my C drop.
Get Caesar C drop. Yep, there you go. All right, everybody, peace. We're the fuck out of here.
Little baby gay fish, come sit on my shoulder today. Little gay parrot fish, sit on my shoulder today and make me a fried shrimpy dish with some soy sauce, baby. As the beat drops, super fries. Super fry egg roll, triple fry rice, triple fry rice, baby. 2 for 1 egg roll, super triple fry rice, triple fry rice, baby. Don't forget the soy sauce, chan chan chan. There's my gay fish song, dudes. What?